talk.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
So yeah. So, but it sounds it's
Well, good Friday morning, everybody. We are in Dominion, Nova Scotia. It's the 2026 Nova Scotia Under-15 AA Hockey Championships, and it's the battle, the classic Halifax versus Dartmouth, to open today's action here on High Button Sports. My name is Luke Diamond. Thank you for tuning in all across the province, or maybe even further, as the Whalers and the Hawks go head-to-head, each looking for their first victory of the year's provincials. Last time these teams met in the Central Minor Hockey League Championship Final, Halifax coming on top of that one, beating Dartmouth by a 6-1 score. But they meet again here, this time with Atlantic Stakes on the line. Successful seasons for both of these teams. The Hawks, especially the defending U15 AA champions, trying to defend their provincial crown here in the regular season this year. 35 points, including 17 wins. Second in the Central League, not to mention the fewest goals allowed on the season, so they do not give up a ton, this Hawks team. Meanwhile, the Whalers, 13 wins of their own, good for 29 points. That's good for 5th in the standings this year. But as either of these teams will tell you, it doesn't matter now. All that matters is the Atlantic road ahead. Both teams looking for their first victories. Dartmouth dropped game one yesterday against the Bedford Blues by a 6-4 score. However, Cam Ward had 2 goals in that game. Also chipping in were Teddy Scott and Braden Langell. Halifax, meanwhile, tied the Cape Breton County Islanders in their tournament opener, 4-4. What a game that was for their captain, Joseph Rimmer, in on all 4 goals with assists. So he had 4 assists in that one. And also a strong showing for Ben Connick. 3 points in that game, including 2 goals of his own as we prepare for puck drop here. The Hawks in the red uniforms to your left, and the Whalers are in the road white uniforms with the yellow stripe. To the right side of your screen, Oliver Grinnell-Brown gets the start in between the pipes for the Halifax Hawks. Emmett Horton, the same for the Whalers, as we're underway at the Dominion Arena in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia. The battle of Halifax versus Dartmouth. No matter what level of hockey it is, local bragging rights at the very least on the line in this one. As we get underway, the Whalers will take it in deep to get this game underway. Jamming out in front of the net, Sasha Christie was parked on top of Grinnell Brown's cage, and the Hawks will get down the other way. Shot from the perimeter. That's Joseph Rimmer, the captain. 4 assists in game 1. Can he keep it going here this morning here for Halifax as the Hawks try to punch that in toward the middle of the net? Now exiting the zone, taking a stick up there high. Kempster Harper gets tied up with the Dartmouth Whaler, and that's going to be an early penalty call. 45 seconds into the hockey game, and we're going to get a Dartmouth Whalers power play very prematurely in the first period. So the Hawks are off to the box on a hooking minor, and the Whalers will get a face-off to the right of the Halifax Hawks goaltender Grinnell Brown, but Halifax will get it up and out of the zone down 200 feet. Maybe here a little less here in Dominion, shorter ice. Now cutting to the middle was Vincent Brown trying to get a look at it short-handed. Taken away by Dartmouth, and they'll get it in deep along the boards. Corners are a bit sharper here, so expect an active puck here off the boards here. It's a flutter pass, cross ice, Whalers in, and on the wraparound attempt, nobody home in front, and the net is knocked off by the goaltender Grinnell Brown on the attempt, sliding across, all beginning with a nice saucer pass across the middle of the ice from defenseman Isaiah Thompson, trying to get something generated here on the power play attempt. A minute 28 still to go here on the opening Whalers man advantage. It's going to be Kai Tremaine in to take the face-off for the Whalers. He's going to go up against the centerman for the Halifax Hawks, as Jax Nickerson-Meehan winning the face-off, and Halifax will get it down the ice. Thompson has to hustle to get back to it. It's into the feet of Cam Ward. Ward already 2 goals on the tournament for the Dartmouth Whalers, looking to add to that total here in what is a crucial game for these teams. 7 teams here in this weekend's U15 AA Championships, each playing 4 round-robin games. Top 4 teams will advance to Sunday's semifinals. Scott in, and that is paddled away. A big save by Grinnell Brown on the penalty kill. In behind the cage, Alexander Merrick scores! And the Whalers convert on the power play to take a 1-0 lead early on. And who else for the Whalers? Cam Ward, 3rd of the tournament. Only 2 minutes into this hockey game, and Dartmouth pulls ahead with an early one. Well, a power play goal for Cam Ward to get things going here in Dominion, taking the centering pass. And the Whalers up on an early advantage. Hawks are going to take it right back down the other way, though. Rimmer secures zone possession. Far side, Keaton Bond at the blue line for the Hawks. Centers it out front. Now to the slot. Off the crossbar on the backhand. Ben Connick coming oh so close to scoring another one. Himself off to a hot start in the tournament for the Halifax Hawks. Connick had 2 goals yesterday in the tie game against the County Islanders, and a huge collision in the middle of the ice. Oliver Norrie throwing the body for the Whalers on the defensive play. The battle will continue along the far side boards. Now thrown down in the direction of the far side corner as the Hawks are looking for a response here after giving up goal 1 on the penalty kill. They'll maintain the possession in the zone. Sullivan holds the line toward the net and kicked away. Emmett Horton, first save, or one of his first stops of the game. It's been quiet down in his end. Brought across. Irick Sullivan will curl around to the middle of the ice. Dropped off on the close side. Connick, saucer pass to the far side. At the far side, hash marks cycled in further by Keaton Bond. The Whalers will try to slow things down on the close side left wing, but Sullivan has to retreat from the zone. A good response shift here from the Halifax Hawks. It's going to bounce away from Matthew Hollett, but he'll get it into the zone and down further. Thompson on the backhand clear around for Teddy Scott, and an exit out through the middle for the Whalers. Up for Rose, centering pass. Good effort on the back check by the Whalers to get back. Now the Hawks will settle it down. Going to bounce around the middle of the ice by Theron Fortier, and Rose will enter up through the middle of the ice. Alexander Merrick getting in on the action. Merrick an assist on that opening goal from Cam Ward a couple of minutes ago for the Dartmouth Whalers, who still are hanging on to that 1-0 lead with Emmett Horton covering up just over 4 minutes into the hockey game. Face-off will come to the right of the Dartmouth net. Vincent Brown head won the draw for the Hawks, but Dartmouth gets it in front of the scorekeeper's bench at the red line. Now we'll hustle in to get it. Sasha Christie leading the attack down low. Clouette also in there for the Whalers, but they're going to go offside as that puck was cleared successfully by Halifax. Trying to escape pressure. Stolen. Scores! Sasha Christie. It's number 2 with the 2-0 goal for Dartmouth. And a beautiful steal by Sasha Christie in all alone, and is going to go up over the glove of Oliver Grinnell Brown, and the Whalers are coming out firing in Game 2 of the Provincial Championships. Hawks back down with it. Irick Sullivan's going to lose it to Ward. Clouette gets across the red line. attempts to dump in. Christie gets in onside. Left to Ward. Both of the goal scorers here on this forward line for the Whalers as the Hawks try to come back up the other way with it. Hawks will settle it down. Keaton Bond over to the close side boards for Sullivan. Tried to flutter that up into the Whalers zone. Played up for Christie. He's joined by Ward to his right flank. Big body check here from Sullivan. Coming back for the Whalers. A pair of players, one from each side down on the ice. And off with speed here. Kempster Harper scores! And the Hawks are on the board and cut the Whalers lead to 1 with 9:26 in the first. And we knew the response was coming from the Hawks. A hot start for the Whalers. Not to say Halifax hasn't had a couple of strong shifts as well. And they finally get the chance they were looking for. And that's going to be the first of the tournament for the forward Owen Kempster Harper. And a 2-1 game. A high-scoring one out of the gate. 5.5 into this matchup here. The rivalry Halifax-Dartmouth. And it is a tight one here so far. And a lot of goals here for each of these clubs. He thought about firing it up. That was Darren Fortier on the blue line. But the pass is out of everybody's reach. And it's sent down the length of the rink for an icing call. So a lot of scoring here to open up this game. Cam Ward, only a couple minutes in on the power play. Sasha Christie made it 2-0. And less than a minute later, Owen Kempster Harper on the odd man rush goes off the post and in on the far side on Emmett Horton. Draw is going to be the left of the Hawks net. Langill is going to settle it down. Eyes up his blue line. Point! Scores! And the Whalers restore their 2-goal lead. And the point shot originates from Ben Murchison. It's going to fool the goaltender. And Dartmouth is on the scoring train here in the first. 3 goals in the hockey game's first 6 minutes and 6 seconds. The Whalers have lots of offense to go around. And it's the defenseman Murchison with that one. It's going to squeak through the wickets of Oliver Grinnell Brown. No shortage of scoring entertainment here in this one. Draw to the right of the Dartmouth net. Centered in front. Almost his second of the game. Blocker. Rebound. Scores! And just as the net is knocked off, the puck is in. The Hawks signal. And it is Ben Connick with his third of the tournament, pardon me, to cut the lead back to 1 for Halifax. And chaos in front of the net. Owen Kempster Harper was denied with a great blocker save from Horton, but the rebound bounces out to Connick, who is in the right place at the right time. 6 minutes and 26 seconds into the game. We've already had 5 goals. 3 for Dartmouth, 2 for Halifax. An absolute barn burner here at the Dominion Arena. And only a goal separates the sides. The Hawks are right back to the attack. Not letting off the gas here as the Whalers look to hold the lead. From the point, skips off the skate of a Whalers defender and comes out to the line for Eirik Sullivan for the Hawks. D-to-D pass to the far wing. Aiden Todd will get that in deep. Taken away by Ben Murchison, who has the go-ahead goal for the Dartmouth Whalers a couple of minutes ago. That is up off the boards and out. It's Rose on the zone entry. He's flanked there by his teammate Teddy Scott. Hawks out the center, taking a bump there from behind as Jax Nickerson-Meehan is thrown to the ice. He'll head to the bench. Halifax in deep. Aiden Todd under some immense pressure and a tie-up along the wall. That's going to elude Fortier. Head down the ice. It will be an icing call assessed to the Dartmouth Whalers. So the draw will come all the way back as we approach the midway point of the second period. Or the first period, rather. Still early on in this one. 8 a.m. puck drop. 6 games on tap here today in the provincial championships in Dominion. It's a battle ensues in the corner. Emmett Mahoney in the midst of it for the Whalers. Luke Peddle the other way for the Hawks. It's going to be turned aside by Grinnell Brown. A pair of Hawks down in the corner. Peddle looks to clear. He does not. Held in the line at Ward, who's gone out to the middle. He was at the top of the circle. Thrown down into the corner. There's the goal scorer, Christie. Ward has that hop away from him. Looking to stick that up and out. Dangerous haul it. Halifax going in behind their own net. The Whalers, an impressive forecheck here is Christie. Got that back to his teammate. Christie head dropped his stick down in south of the goal line, but comes up with possession once more. Held up along the boards by Clouet. Clouet and Christie getting to work in behind the net. Battle in front. Over to Merrick, top of the circle. Towed away. A big save by Grinnell Brown to keep it at 1. 6:20 left in the period. It's going to elude Christie in behind the Hawks net. Cameron McDonald now for Halifax will finally exit the zone. A much needed change for the Halifax Hawks with just over 6 to go in the first. And it's sent down the ice. So we'll get another extended break here with 6:04 now on the scoreboard here at the Dominion Arena. We had 5 goals in the game's opening 6 minutes. The Hawks with 2 and the Whalers leading by 1 with 3 of their own. Big D zone draw win for Halifax as the Hawks will ice it again. Remember, it's standards across the goal line icing in this league. So although the Hawks, Ben Connick was first in the skate, might be used to watching the hybrid icing format in the NHL and other leagues. That is not the case here in this tournament as the Hawks win another face-off. This time they'll get it out cleanly. Connick in a foot race with Isaiah Thompson for Dartmouth. And the Hawks are unable to clear. Coming up and out of the zone with it. It's Christie trying to get a shot out. Rather, that was Langeal for the Whalers in a board battle with Blake Miller, the right-handed defenseman for the Hawks. He's going to leave it up for his teammate Rimmer. The Hawks captain will exit the zone. Will skate in front of his bench and dodges the check. In with numbers for the Hawks. It's going to get away finally from Owen Kempster-Harper. Kempster-Harper, 1 of 2 goals here for the Hawks. Safe to say the Halifax top line here, joined by Rimmer. They have had an incredible tournament so far. Connick skips away over to Miller. He'll send that back into the corner where Kempster-Harper was in pursuit. Rimmer at the far side corner with a pair of Whalers in there working away, trying to get that puck back. In the middle is the defenseman Thompson. Rimmer, and the net will roll off its moorings for a stoppage of play in Whalers territory as we just dip under the 5-minute mark in the first period. Whalers leading by 1 here in Dominion. The draw will come to the right of the goaltender, Horton. As the Hawks' Vincent Brown goes in and take the draw. Loses it to his Whalers counterpart, but it's going to roll right over to Horton. So we'll get a repeat of that face-off in Whalers territory. They'll do it again, same 2 centermen at it. And this time, Brown will come up with the win. Block it away there easily by Horton. Will trickle into the corner to his right. And with some time and space, Sam Rose looks at his options to get it up and out of the zone. Scott is rooting for it as well for the Whalers. And it's going to ricochet over to him in the middle of the ice. Skips out to the neutral zone. Not a very big neutral zone here at the Dominion Arena. And there will be a trio of Hawks bunched up here against 2 Whalers fighting for possession of the puck, will elude Simpson. Brown walks in, going up high as Vincent Brown was tying the top glove on Emmett Horton, who will glove that puck down and force a stoppage of play. 4 1/4 now left here in the first period. Going to be a tie-up off the draw. Going to skip to Irick Sullivan. And up the middle, the Hawks are away on a 2-on-1. Maybe a breakaway. Cutting in is Scott. And he's knocked off the puck at the last moment as Sullivan turned on the Jets to hustle back and break up that partial breakaway attempt by the Whalers on the stolen puck. It's going to just exit Hawks territory. And we'll roll back to Sullivan. Goes D to Keaton Bond. Attempting to skip that up the middle. And Teddy Scott will take it away. It's knocked off the puck by Sullivan. He has it lost in his feet. The Whalers keep up the forecheck. And a huge hit in behind the net thrown by the centerman Vincent Brown. Going to airmail it up the middle. It's a knuckle puck in on the Whalers defenseman. And taken away by Kempster Harper in low. Brown also in pursuit and throwing the body for the Hawks. The Whalers looking to settle things down in their own zone. Taken away by Brown. Centering pass almost skipped out the pedal. Still jamming at it. And Horton, amid all the chaos, will gobble it up and make a save for the Whalers. Now with 3:12 on the clock here in the first period. Now this time to the left of the goaltender, Horton. And the face-off was Rimmer. Got it back for the Hawks. The Whalers clear the zone. And a hit thrown there by Roman Marson, the affiliate player up here in the lineup for the Halifax Hawks this weekend, is going to elude Christie. Going in one-on-one against Lucas Tang for Halifax. The Whalers cannot hold the line. It held there for a second. And it's returned to the corner by Cam Ward as his team is assessed offside. The Whalers captain is contesting that call. And the face-off is going to come all the way back to the Dartmouth Whalers zone. Now with under 3 to go here in the opening period between Halifax and Dartmouth. A big 2 points on the line for these two teams. Tipped over to the glove side of Horton as that took a wild bounce. Nice tip by the Hawks, who will maintain possession south of the goal line. Miller in a foot race with it on the pinch against Christie. Whalers on the second attempt to get it out, but the low ceiling comes to the detriment of the Whalers defense as that is skipped high off the short glass and out of play into the rafters here at Dominion Arena. So we'll get a face-off in down low in the Dartmouth zone. Ward in to take the draw against Joseph Rimmer of the Hawks, the captains at center ice for each of these teams. Halifax manages to hold in the zone. Fortier from distance, kicked away into the corner for Connick. Cycles in down low for Kempster Harper, joined there by Rimmer, who's hanging out up high into the middle of the ice. Whalers had some numbers there for a second, but they will regroup with the Whalers getting back in time, or rather the Hawks getting back in time as Connick puts it in behind the cage. The Whalers keeping up the pressure in behind the net. That was Christie in the mix, looking for his second of the period for Dartmouth. Halifax up the center ice logo as Kempster Harper is breaking in. Owen Kempster Harper is surrounded by a triangle of Whalers players. Aidan Todd keeping the attack alive here for Halifax. 90 seconds remaining here in the opening frame. Going in one-on-one. Christie has that skip by him. Gabriel Asselin, the Halifax Hawks defenseman, skating up and around where Brown also pursues it. And we'll get an offside call assessed to the Halifax Hawks for a stoppage in play. Down to 79 seconds in the first period. The Whalers still hanging on to a 1-goal lead in what has been a high-scoring first period. In the first 6 minutes of this first period, we had 5 goals, and nobody has found the back of the net since then. Here in a bit of an uneven scoring first period as well. Keaton Bond was first back to it for the Halifax Hawks. Got it up to his winger. Todd has to work it back to Bond, over to Irick Sullivan. on the close side boards for the Hawks. Through the feet there of Jax Nickerson Meehan for the Hawks. Sullivan has to hustle back for Halifax. Completing a change. And a battle over on the far side. Skating up. Luke Peddle in pursuit. Centering pass. And Nickerson Meehan couldn't get the tape on it. 42 seconds now left in the period. Far side hash marks. A Hawk falls down. Return to the corner by Bond. Almost played in front to Horton. Halifax maintains possession and below the net. That was Nickerson Meehan working it to his teammate Peddle on the far side corner. Joined out there on the attack by Vincent Brown. 20 seconds. Sullivan off the shin pads in front of a Whaler. Brown keeps it alive in the corner. Going up in a battle by Nicholas Soublier. Trying to get that back for Dartmouth. And escaping pressure, Nickerson Meehan. 5 seconds from the point. That's going to fly wide of the net as the buzzer goes here in Dominion. An entertaining first period between Halifax and Dartmouth. The Whalers with 3, the Halifax Hawks with 2. After 15 minutes of play here, the players will take a break, and so will we for a drink of water. We'll be back in just a moment for the second period on High Button Sports. You're watching High Button Sports, the 2026 Under 15 AA Nova Scotia Hockey Championships. After one period of play, Dartmouth leading by 3-2 over the Hawks, who came dangerously close to tying the game here right off the puck drop here in the second period. Owen Kempster Harper almost with his second of the contest out here on this Hawks top line with Connick and Joseph Rimmer, who now has possession in beneath the Whalers goal line. Rimmer walks in front, looking down low, and the goaltender Horton, who made a nice butterfly save. And the Whalers will escape pressure. Coming out to the middle, Teddy Scott on a mission in pursuit of the dump and chase. Halifax will knock it away though, take it back out themselves. Kempster Harper up through the neutral zone. Challenged there by both Whalers defensemen. And it will be blown offside with goals from Ward Christie and Ben Murchison in the first period from the Dartmouth Whalers. Kempster Harper and Ben Connick responding for the Halifax Hawks. Murchison's goal is the go-ahead one for the Whalers with two different two-goal leads in that first period. All 5 of those goals coming in the first half of the opening frame. So, scoring in bunches here today, these teams. Just getting going here in the second period. Game 1 of 7 here in Championship Friday in Dominion. 7 teams this tournament fighting for 4 semifinal spots on Sunday morning as the Hawks try to power move it in toward the Whalers' crease. It's going to escape in behind the goal. The Hawks' Roman Marson is in pursuit, and Dartmouth will get it out of the puck battle and skip it across the line. An excellent display of hand-eye coordination from Teddy Scott, and he'll get it all the way down the ice for Dartmouth. Halifax steals it again though. Up through center, and Marson enters the zone, easily turned aside by Horton, with the Whalers changing on the long change here in the second period. Up here through the middle for Dartmouth, Alexander Merrick enters the zone with size. The big defenseman will take it for a skate himself. A good, clever stick there by Lucas Tang. This is taken away by the Whalers there. Pluette blew a tire, centering pass in front where Ward couldn't quite pull the trigger past the blocker side of Grinnell Brown. Second attempt from the point fails. Ward has a Hawk breathing down his neck off the backside of the defenseman. Scoring, and a shot from Merrick on the point. A couple of sharp saves from Grinnell Brown, who has been good since the first three Whalers goals. Nickerson Meehan the other way, sticked away on the rebound attempt. Will elude the blocker side of Emmett Horton. Nickerson Meehan scoops it up on the far side. In chase, Ben Connick back to the point, held on the line by Theron Fortier. That time directed toward Horton. Rebound. It's a sputtering puck in front of the Whalers net and brought the other way by Ward. To the left flank, Christie was breaking in and out for the Hawks. Connick, breakaway, Halifax. Oh, and he got a piece of the post with that one. Rimmer, oh so close to knotting this one up. Connick in front of the goal as Halifax will have to retreat to their own blue line. Brought out to Kempster. Harper breaking in high up over the head of Horton. Carrick holding the zone possession here for Halifax as it skips out. Looking glove side that time by Emmett Horton. Will miss to the left side of the Dartmouth goaltender. And in front, unable to handle it, was Connick as Dartmouth, gasping for a breath here, will skip that right into the pads of Grinnell Brown at the other end of the ice. And the Whalers will get a change in. The action hasn't died down here in the second period, only 4 minutes into the middle frame. The Hawks looking to turn up the heat here. Really pushing for an equalizer here early in the second. It's going to skip past the defenseman Hollett. He's got to get back. Thompson will take it away at center ice. Isaiah Thompson skips it down to the corner, but Theron Fortier has tons of time and space here, or maybe not as much as he thought for the Hawks. An impressive forecheck by Mahoney for the Whalers, and they'll hold the line. That's high up off a stick of Mahoney. He tried to duck under it, but drew a high stick. That was eventually waved off as the Hawks took it the other way. Halifax will get caught offside on that one, as Matthew Hollett was unable to slow down the play for his team. So we'll get a face-off here in the neutral zone with 10:26 to go here in the second period. No scoring here in the middle frame yet, but the Whalers still holding on to a single goal advantage here. In each of these teams' second games of the provincial championships. Halifax walks in through the backhand and a good hand-eye attempt by the Hawks in on top of the net. Luke Peddle coming oh so close to popping that past Emmett Horton, but Horton has been looking real sharp for the Whalers here in the second period, making some really crucial saves as Dartmouth takes it the other way. Sam Rose along the left side. Teddy Scott charging the net. He's going to tie up with Keaton Bond in front of the Hawks crease. It's a 2-on-2 rugby scrum in the far corner. It's going to shoot its way around on the close side. A lot of play is happening fast here. Counterattacks going one way and the other here on the smaller ice in Dominion, and has made this a really fast game and really a playoff atmosphere here at these provincials as Teddy Scott will fish away with it. Murchison, slot area, high up over the net. That went over the mask of Grinnell Brown as the Whalers tried to double up their lead. It's stolen in the middle. The Hawks were right in with it. Matthew Hollett came charging in and into the corner with Simpson in behind the Whalers net, and Scott will escape up to the neutral zone. That's off a Hawk and in, so no icing on that play. Dartmouth was scrambled to get a change, and fanning on the clear was Blake Miller for the Hawks. Whalers will get it in. The shot on the half clapper from the point was Simpson looking to put that toward the Whalers. Goal, and it's knocked away in front by Grinnell Brown and stolen by the Hawks out with numbers. Jax Nickerson Meehan trailed over to his left side by Aiden Todd. Waiting for some assistance is Halifax. Vincent Brown back to the point, and the shot from the wrister rebound. Oh, batted away. Scores! And the Hawks will tie it Vincent Brown sneaks it underneath Horton to make it 3-3. And Halifax came out firing here in this second period. And that time they will get the bounce in front of Emmett Horton in front. They had to jam away at it a few times. And it is Brown that puts it underneath the Whalers goalie. And we have a brand new hockey game here in the second period. Tied up at 3 apiece between Halifax and Dartmouth. We expected a close game here. The Whalers playing with some redemption after dropping game 1 of the tournament opener. Losing that one 6-4 to league rival Bedford Blues. Not to mention looking for revenge from the league final against the Hawks. And they're putting up a strong effort here today in their Friday opener. But Halifax, though, only tied their first game. Knotting things up with the County Islanders 4-4 yesterday. So themselves, too, are looking for their first win of the provincials. And it's been a tight one here as we find ourselves tied up in the second period. Sent down the length of the ice. Lucas Tang would have been the first player there for the Halifax Hawks, but it's going to be a Dartmouth Whalers icing. Just approaching the midway point of the second period, the Hawks tie it up early in the second. It's 3-3 at the Dominion Arena on High Button Sports. Face-off coming to the left of the goaltender Horton, and it's won by the Hawks in the O-zone. Back to the point, exchanging passes. Kempster Harper will throw it around on the no-look backhand behind him. Connick will relay it around the net. Helped out there by Rimmer behind the cage. Back up to the point. High point shot, and it's a slow floater that will sail into the glove of Emmett Horton. So we'll get another face-off coming up here to his left. The Hawks, the provincial champions, looking to repeat that title here in back-to-back years up in Glace Bay. Whalers trying to say otherwise as Dartmouth will take it all the way down in behind the Hawks net. A couple of players were in jamming at it, but instead Halifax will come up and out with it. Irick Sullivan leads the rush, and mishandling in front of the net was the Whalers defenseman, so Halifax will keep the pressure on down low. Isaiah Thompson will work it up to his right winger, and the Whalers will punch it ahead. Rose is pursued by a pair of Hawks and almost stole in the slot area. He's going to knock it away and gets the shot off. The rebound rolls around for Kai Tremaine, who himself had a shot attempt on the backhand. Tremaine got it back to his defenseman Thompson, who is unable to hold the line on the bouncing puck. First man back to it is Nicholas Soublier. No icing there is the call from the linesman here in Dominion. Teddy Scott goes up the middle for Tremaine, who makes a move at the line, and it is deemed offside by the officials with 6 1/4 left to go in the second period. (3-3) hockey game. Not long ago, Vincent Brown knotted things up at 3. That's the only goal here of the second period so far. The Hawks will win the draw. Theron Fortier rims it around the wall. Matthew Hollett was waiting for it, and the Whalers pressure them on and will take away puck possession. Centered in front, and the Whalers are jamming at. Start with Christie swinging his stick and knocking it to the center, and that's a long-range missile off the tape of the Whalers. Rose, and taken the other way by the Hawks. Peddle going up for the high blocker, and a good save by Emmett Horton. Knocked that high off the glass. Will rattle in behind the Whalers net. A foot race for it between a Whaler and a Hawk. Held in the line by Halifax. There's the tying goal scorer there, Brown, in pursuit of it. Christie is pinned along the boards there by Fortier. Cohen Cluett Pressuring there is the lead man in on the forecheck for the Whalers, but the Hawks will get all the way down the ice. Just an example of how fast things can turn around here on this small rink in Dominion. We're going to have a penalty coming up. It's a boarding penalty deep in Dartmouth territory. There has only been one penalty in the game to this point. It was only seconds into the hockey game to the Halifax Hawks. But for the first time in this one, the Whalers will go to the box, and the Hawks will get to see their power play unit for the first time in this game. 5:14 to go in the period. A boarding minor will be assessed to the Whalers captain Cam Ward, and the Hawks will win it cleanly and will get set up. It's Blake Miller quarterbacking the power play. Walking in, Rimmer got the shot. Rebound, front of the net, and a huge pad save by Emmett Horton. A big one to open up this power play opportunity. Backing off with it is Keaton Bond, the defenseman. He's going to relay it down low. Back up top for Miller. The close side. Centered in front off the pass from Rimmer. Unable to get a stick on it as Kempster Harper is parked in the front of the net position. Played across from Connick. The shot up and over the cage as Rimmer got a good look at it, but couldn't pick his spot with it. Down low, Connick looks at his options. Pursued there closely by the penalty killer Mahoney. Cycled down into the corner once more. Miller at the top of the far side circle is going to walk in. Scores! Power play goal for the Hawks. It's Miller. It's 4-3 Halifax. And the message is loud and clear for these teams. Avoid penalties at all costs. A couple of power play goals already for each team. It's the Hawks' turn to strike on the man advantage. It's the defenseman Blake Miller getting on the board. And Halifax will lead for the first time in this hockey game. We're waiting for the face-off to take place here. It's won back by the Hawks. Irick Sullivan in close pursuit there. Very tight quarters. The Whalers are making it. A great hand-eye coordination effort by Samuel Rose to keep in the zone, but it doesn't last long with Luke Peddle taking it the other way. Centered in front by the Hawks. Unable to get the scoring chance off on that one with the puck going the other way here. This time for the Whalers, Oliver Norrie was up with it. Will roll back to Alexander Merrick at the Whalers blue line. He gains the red line. Attempting the dump in. Goes to Langill in front of the Whalers bench. Over to the open side for Oliver Norrie. He's going to hit the brakes and looking for the shot. He's going to hit Sullivan of the Hawks, who is attempting to block it. Merrick from the point, a hard one. That's going to sail up high off the glass. McQueen in down low. Norrie contending against a pair of Halifax Hawks there. 3:18 left to go in the period. McQueen takes a funny bounce in the slot area and charging. Attempting to get a stick on that was Christie in front. Rather, that was Norrie contending for it. Norrie workhorsing it down in the close side corner up against a pair of Hawks now. Will get some help now from a Whalers forward. The puck is still not moving. Norrie to the ice and it is cleared out of the zone by Halifax. It will miss the net. So an icing call assessed to Halifax, who is out there on a long change and get a much needed shift with 2:48 left in the second frame here in Dominion. In the take the draw for the Whalers, that's Kai Tremaine. To the left of the Hawks goaltender Grinnell Brown. Going to be a tie-up with Christie coming up for it for Dartmouth. Hawks now, Vincent Brown, the centerman, getting it up the center. Got it to Nickerson Meehan. Going to leave it off for Brown. Brown has a goal here in the second period. Now Nickerson Meehan in the far side corner. Going up against a pair of Whalers defenders down in the corner. And walking out pressure is Nickerson Meehan to the middle. Looking for the high glove on Emmett Horton. And the shot is going to hit an obstacle in front of the net. Another frozen puck play along the boards. Hawks walk out with it. And into the glove of Emmett Horton. making the net look small in behind them. Horton with a couple of big saves for the Whalers with 2:06 to go in the second. This time to the left of the Whalers net. Brown in to take the O-zone faceoff. Going up against Cam Ward. It's won by the Hawks. Quickly skipped out by the Whalers. A high backhander pose there. But a little too much mustard on that one. So we're coming all the way back down to the Whalers zone. It does not take much strength to shoot it down the length of the ice here in the Dominion rink. Here since 1979, the Dominion Arena. A staple here in the Cape Breton community for decades. And a classic old barn where the tournament will be taking place here this weekend. Lucas Tang in pursuit for the Hawks and behind the Hawks net. Backhanded up the middle, taken away by the Whalers, but unable to hold the line as Brown is up with it, almost on an individual effort, but Soublier with a great defensive play to knock that to the corner. Brown still in pursuit here for Halifax, goes in one-on-one. Soublier holding his own as well though. Brown in front of the net and sticked away by the defenseman Isaiah Thompson to get that out of danger for the Whalers. A bouncing puck here toward the end of the second period. Christie now in pursuit, throws the body, and that's stolen by Cluett. Colin Cluett is now knocked to the ice by the centerman Brown for Halifax, and the Whalers will return the favor with a big hit of their own down in the offensive zone corner. Nickerson Meehan goes up against a trio of Whalers defenders with the Hawks changing up to get a good shot opportunity on an Emmett Horton. He will cover up with just 51 seconds left in the middle frame. Now this time a draw to the left of Horton. Hawks looking to extend their lead here very late in the second frame. Hawks Theo Fortier in to take that draw. Going to lose it to the Whalers. Dartmouth attempt to get that out. Kempster Harper gets it down low for Rimmer. Played in front and kicked away. Rimmer is working at it now with Connick parked in front of the net. Rimmer walks out of the corner. Close quarters there for the Hawks defense. Now walking in. Bond down low for Connick. Tried to return it up to Bond, but it's taken away by Norrie. Gets it all the way back to the Hawks blue line, the other end of the ice. Connick walks in. Good opportunity for Kempster Harper to walk in, but there was not much room to contend with there as Horton will corral the bobbling puck. 5 seconds left in the period. Collision along the wall. One last chance for Kempster Harper. Will not get it, and we will hit the end of the second period. This time a 1-goal lead for the Halifax Hawks, who have both of the markers here in the second period. Began with a Vincent Brown goal about 4 minutes into the frame, and then later on the power play, Blake Miller struck to give Halifax their first advantage of the hockey game. So the teams will head to the dressing room for a Zamboni break before the 15-minute third period. We'll take a break here too with a 4-3 Halifax Hawks advantage. We will return in about 10 minutes or so after the Zamboni break here on High Button Sports. And welcome back for the third period. You were watching the 2026 Nova Scotia Under-15 AA Provincial Hockey Championships here in Glace Bay, Nova Scotia. We're at the Dominion Arena after 30 minutes of play, 2 periods. The Halifax Hawks pull into the lead, up 4-3 heading into the third period. Here it was 3-2 Whalers after 15 minutes of play. But the Hawks respond in that second period with a pair of goals. First from Vincent Brown, and then another one from the defenseman Blake Miller to give them the lead. And what a fast, quick game this has been. Talking with Mark, who is doing the Dartmouth broadcast on Facebook, talking about in that intermission about just how the small rink has really sped this game up. Neither team with much space to work with at all out there. Quick attacks and counterattacks up either way. A 3-on-2 for your team in a matter of seconds can turn into one for the other team if that puck takes a tough bounce, especially late in that second period as the ice got choppy. Smaller neutral zone, as you can clearly see here on the broadcast. And look around the end boards, the glass on the end boards and the sideboards here in this rink, not very high either. So not many options here to players reacting quickly. But that's all part of the entertainment here in this one, as a excellent battle here between these Halifax Dartmouth rivals, going to fight in this third period for an all-important 2 points, or maybe even one each here at the provincial championships. As it skips down toward the Whalers end of the ice, that was Joseph Rimmer in for Ed, as the puck comes up flying close in the direction of the broadcast booth here in the middle of the ice, up over the Dartmouth Whalers cheering section here in Dominion. Took a high flip up and out of play, so the face-off will come back to the Whalers zone here to the left of Emmett Horton, and that's won by the Hawks. Shot from distance from Fortier. It's going to bounce off the boards and roll wide. That is directed in behind the net now by Horton. Picked up on the left wing by the Whalers, but Fortier provides some contention for Halifax. Rimmed around by Nickerson Meehan, now in pursuit. Brown holds it in line for Halifax, and it is finally settled down by Horton for a whistle. So we remember these teams met in the Central Minor Hockey League final. 4 teams from that league qualified for the provincial championships, also joined by the Yarmouth Mariners and the Bedford Blues. Those 2 teams will play next year on High Button Sports. But Halifax and Dartmouth met in the league final. Halifax ran away with that one, winning 6-1. As the Hawks are on a mission to repeat as provincial champions. They won the whole thing last year. They have lots of expectations on them. And the Whalers also playing out their strong, proving they got nothing to lose out here this weekend in Dominion. Dartmouth trying to get it up and out. Again, not a lot of room to work with here on the smaller ice. We're seeing that a lot here in this game, and early to start in this third period. Emmett Mahoney looks at his options to exit the zone. Tried to go in one-on-one against Peddle, and Luke Peddle provides just enough opposition to turn over the puck. Little bit of hot potato here in the neutral zone. Back and forth between the teams, but Mahoney gets away with it. Mahoney went up against Fortier. Knocked down to the ice. Picked up on the left wing by Halifax. Stolen in the middle of the ice. The backhand. Corralled. Bouncing around. Oh, what chaos in front of the Halifax net, and the Whalers couldn't put it home. And Grinnell Brown had to be sharp there for a couple of saves as the Hawks are forced to send the puck down the ice for an icing call. Dartmouth Whalers pulling very close to that 4-4 goal there. A couple of chances as the Hawks goaltender was unable to corral it amidst all the commotion in front of his net. So now we'll get a face-off deep in Hawks territory. It's won in the O-zone by the Whalers. Tipped in front, rebound! Oh, diving across on a sprawl was Grinnell Brown, who is able to keep the puck out of the net. The Whalers so close to another one there, keeping up the pressure right off the face-off. They have to retreat to win behind their own net as the Hawks take it down. No icing on the play. Be better McQueen leading it up the other direction for the Whalers on the zone entry to Clouet off a stick, and a rebound attempt there from the Whalers. Still jamming it the other way. Cam Ward trying to put it home. Still no whistle, and a couple of jabs. A Whaler at the bottom of a scrum on the ice in the blue crease in Halifax territory. A couple of sharp saves again from Griddle Brown. Very strong in the legs to shut off the bottom of the net and keep it 4-3. 11:44 to go here in the game. Dartmouth really pressing for that 4-4 goal on a mission. I'm sure it was a very good second period talk in the room. This is a motivated looking team out here looking to knock things up. But Halifax looking for a response themselves. It's the top line for the Hawks. Owen Kempster-Harper leads it up. Going to get some assistance from his line mate Connick. Holding the line from the point is Bond. Up and over the net and ricochets off the glass. Irick Sullivan coming in aggressively off the pinch. Sullivan unable to get it with help from Connick. And it's maneuvered up through the middle by Ward. Got it to Cohen Clouet. He's unable to make anything out of it as a collision there with Kempster-Harper and a Whaler. Threw a couple extra shots there after the dump in. And the Hawks will make a change. Todd leaves that down for Irick Sullivan. D to Keaton Bond. Good tic-tac-toe passing play from the Hawks, but it's a bouncing puck along the Hawks' blue line. No icing on the play. Nickerson Meehan, the lead forechecker now for Halifax. Whalers trying to get it around everybody. A good hit thrown there by Brown, but Dartmouth is up with it. Through in the middle, Teddy Scott is going to step around his coverage. Asselin trying to knock him off the puck from the point, and that's knocked out at harm's way by the Hawks in front of their own net. Still not done though are the Whalers. Teddy Scott toward the net. Turned aside once more. Sam Rose in the midst of all the commotion in the slot area. Scott, a high one through traffic, off a body, and a penalty coming up. And the Hawks will go to the box here after a Whaler goes down in front of the net. So the Dartmouth Whalers will go to their second power play opportunity of the hockey game. They scored on their first really early on in the game, and they have a chance to pull things even here in the third period. 10:04 on the clock. You're watching High Button Sports. 4-3 Halifax. Big penalty kill coming up. Power play unit steps on the ice for Dartmouth. Kai Tremaine taking the draw, but the Hawks will win the face-off. Taken away though by the Whalers. They ran out of space. Tremaine looked to play that back to his defenseman. Now a foot race. Brown in pursuit of it against Thompson. Brown will pin him to the boards. Attempting his escape coverage is Isaiah Thompson. He does. Going to play that back to Kai Tremaine. Over to the close side for Alexander Merrick. Merrick, as the Hawks were making a change. Fresh penalty killer up there. Teddy Scott knocks it down with a high stick. It's waved off as Halifax touches up. Rimmer in pursuit. The Hawks captain will steal it. In close. What a move! Into the glove of Horton. That would have been highlight reel stuff from Joseph Rimmer, the Hawks captain, but an equally important and huge implication save for the Dartmouth Whalers goaltender to keep things within one. Hawks making noise here. Short-handed. Rimmer in to take the draw again. Will tie it up, but now the Whalers will have some runway to get it up through center. Picked up middle of the ice. That's Cam Ward. He has a goal today. Now Scott, the centering pass, rebound out to Merrick. It skipped over his tape and out to the high slot area. Holding the possession for Dartmouth was Tremaine. Exchanges passes with Thompson. Tremaine tried to work it in front, but is dogged there by Kempster-Harper. Kempster-Harper holds it along the wall. Vetter McQueen in to get it for the Whalers. It's going to bounce back to Teddy Scott. Thompson over to his left flank. Merrick in behind the net there. The big defenseman playing the net front possession here on the power play opportunity for the Whalers. 30 seconds to go on the power play for Dartmouth. Centering pass attempt there from Kai Tremaine. Couldn't muscle it in front. Teddy Scott now racing down to keep the possession alive for Dartmouth. Scott at the top of the circle on the close side. Thompson returns it to Scott at the circle, going up high. Blocked away by Grinnell Brown. 11 seconds now. The shot again earmarked for the blocker side. Ward couldn't hit his mark. Thompson cannot hold the line. He mishandled. Taken away by the Hawks, but losing speeds. Kempster Harper, he cannot get away on the breakaway, but that will do it for the penalty. Shot from Rimmer is off the glass on a quick response from the Hawks as we return to 5-on-5 play here between Halifax and Dartmouth, who is unable to convert on their second power play attempt of the day. Going to roll in behind the net here now for Braden Langell. Over to the close side left wing for Ward. And he's going to go to the ice. No call on the play as the Whalers captain got tied up. He's protesting. Ward races over and will now go for a change as that will skip up into the Halifax Hawks bench and out of play at the midway point of the third period. Halifax clinging on for dear life to a 4-3 lead on High Button Sports. Face-off came in front of the Dartmouth Whalers bench and it is snagged by Blake Miller for the Hawks. Miller has the go-ahead goal, sent it to the net, and it'll bounce over to Emmett Horton, who will make the save for Dartmouth. Been a high-scoring game. We had 5 goals come in the game's first 6 minutes, including all 3 of the Whalers markers from Ward Christie and the defenseman Ben Murchison. Hawks responded to goals from Kempster Harper, Ben Connick, Brown, and the defenseman Blake Miller, who had the 4-3 goal on the power play in the second period. That's where we sit right now. No scoring to this point anyway in the third as Miller walks in to the circle area, has to maneuver behind the net. Wrap try, partially a good stick there from the Whalers defender to break up the play, and it's going to escape the zone on the Hawks. Halifax back in with it. Nickerson Meehan ran into some opposition against Simpson, and the Whalers will take it away. Unable to handle it. Now to the Halifax point, and losing a handle was Lucas Tang. It's up to the middle with Dartmouth looking for a response of their own. Oliver Norrie on the zone entry attempt will take a tumble as he got tied up with a Hawk. Now Halifax the other way. Vincent Brown looking for a second goal of the hockey game. Goes off on the east-west and look for the high shot into the top shelf in the vicinity of Emmett Horton's net. And that'll go off an errant stick and into the mesh and out of play here at the Dominion Arena. 6:12 now on the clock. Draw to the right of Emmett Horton. Going up against Joseph Rimmer. Taking a face-off for the Halifax Hawks. He's going to go up against the captain, Cam Ward, from the Whalers side. Now Rimmer is going to get tossed for Owen Kempster Harper to take the face-off, and he wins it into the glove of Emmett Horton, so we will repeat that face-off here. Next up on High Button Sports, 2 more Central Minor Hockey League teams. Bedford Blues and the Yarmouth Mariners will go at it. The Blues won their first game yesterday, beating the Whalers 6-4. Meanwhile, Yarmouth played twice, losing once to the Glace Bay Miners, the host team, and then tied their matchup against the Pictou County Crushers. So the Mariners will be looking for their first victory of the tournament, with every point starting to count with them. Only 2 games left here in their round robin on Friday and Saturday, as the Whalers will secure it in behind their net. Running into some opposition, though, against this Halifax Hawks line. It was Ben Connick causing havoc here for Halifax. And it's going to roll up through center and in behind Irick Sullivan. He's going to race in behind, gets the puck to his D partner, Bond. Return to Sullivan. Pursued there closely by Sasha Christie. And Christie's going to steal it to Ward. Scores! The giveaway in low. Cam Ward makes them pay. It's all tied up at 4. It's a near carbon copy of the Sasha Christie goal in the first period. A bouncing puck giveaway by the Halifax Hawks in their own zone. A little too close for comfort on Grinnell Brown. And Cam Ward stays on fire for the Dartmouth Whalers. This time to knot it up at 4-4. And bounced away in front of Emmett Horton's net. He's had a strong third period here for the Whalers. A big part of Dartmouth being able to hang in this game and now knot things up 4 on the tournament for their captain, Cam Ward. Just incredible stuff from number 16 in the Whalers uniform. And played in front. Oh, what a save by Horton. His best of the game so far. Denying the Hawks on the back door with the glove. And we'll keep it knotted up. Incredible stuff from Horton in the Whalers net. And you can file that one under highlight reel saves there as he was diving back on the last-ditch effort to keep the Hawks out of the net there. Halifax almost generating a very quick response to the Dartmouth tying goal. But he's going to shut the door, Horton, on this Hawks top line. It's Ben Connick out there. It was Connick who almost had his second of the hockey game. Over to Miller, breaking in off a Dartmouth skate out front. Will ricochet back in front of the Whalers bench. Was in the zone momentarily as the Whalers tried to come up with it quick the other way. In behind the net, Miller is first back to it. Will take a check from Rose with Halifax coming up and out of the zone with it. Is going to elude Isaiah Thompson and will go all the way down the ice with the Halifax Hawks in violation of an icing call. Here with 4:29 to go, just moments ago, who else for the Dartmouth Whalers? Cam Ward, tie game up over the shoulder of Grinnell Brown. And now the Whalers will get a big ozone face-off here deep in Halifax territory. It's won by the Hawks and they'll clear at the center. In pursuit, Aiden Todd skating after the Whalers D-man. Picked up and retrieved by the Hawks is Fortier. And it's a little bit of back and forth here in the low room neutral zone. No room for anybody in such a small area of the ice here at the Dominion Arena. An interesting factor not only in this game, but it will be all weekend up here in the provincial championships in Glace Bay. Going to skip away from Isaiah Thompson. Comes up with it again, will rotate and play it over to the wall for his winger, who will have to pinch him down low. Trying to find a way out of the zone of the Whalers. That's Soublier now. Got it out the first time, and Dartmouth will get it to the red line at center ice. In pursuit was Norrie. He's going to lose a handle on that. Now Halifax trying to do the same thing the other way. D to Soublier. Plays for Nickerson Meehan off the Halifax Hawks bench. He's going to go in on the close side right wing and cannot beat Sasha Christie, who does a good job pinning up his man along the boards to prevent a scoring chance from materializing. Fortier is going to retreat the pressure, instead skated right into Cohen Cluette of the Whalers, and up across the line is Nickerson Meehan. Runs in some opposition. Isaiah Thompson at the end of a long shift for the Dartmouth Whalers. He's going to stay on the ice, so it's stolen by Cam Ward on hat-trick watch for the Whalers. Long distance shot off the blocker, straight up and down into the air in front of the Hawks goal crease. And now Dartmouth trying to establish some possession in low, but it's going to hop over the stick of Murchison. Cleared out way over his net to play. It was Horton as the Whalers that go up. We have a player down for the Whalers. The coaches are pleading for a whistle, and we finally get a whistle as it looks like Joseph Rimmer was the one on the receiving end of a collision in the middle of the ice. The Hawks coach is still protesting a potential call. There's no arm up in the air here from the referees going to talk over things. We'll get a brief stoppage in play as the referees will hold a conversation at the Hawks bench. Tied up at 4 with 2.5 to play here in Dominion. And a big no call at such a crucial point in the game, tied at 4 with 2.5 to play. The Hawks take it in deep. Now Rose in pursuit. Will throw that up off the boards, but he was on the wrong side of center ice. So it's an icing call charged to the Whalers. So the draw will come all the way back down to the left of the goaltender, Emmett Horton, who has had a strong third period for this Whalers team. A couple of crucial saves to keep things to where they are on the Hawks side of the scoreboard. Right back out there is Rimmer. He was at the receiving end of a tough collision there and was slow to get up about a minute ago. But he's back out there now with his line. Connick in pursuit. The Hawks holding his own, and a huge hit thrown up there along the wall by Thompson. Hawks are still able to manage possession in the zone. Connick will run into his man. Now Teddy Scott racing after it, and he was hung off the back by a pair of Hawks and was still able to clear the zone. Huge hit thrown there at the blue line by a Halifax Hawk. They're down the other way. Miller escapes pressure, in for the chance, looking to go down low on Emmett Horton, but he missed his mark. Was perhaps looking for a pass on the center. There's a penalty in behind the play coming up, and it's touched up by the Hawks. It looks like Halifax is going to the box on a head contact. So the Dartmouth Whalers, with a minute and 34 to play in the game, will go to the power play. And what a way to end an incredibly entertaining game. A chance for the Whalers to strike again on the man advantage. It's going to be a timeout called by Dartmouth. 30-second timeout. Just 94 seconds left to play here in the third. Let's start from the beginning here. Three goals in the game's first 6 minutes for Dartmouth. Began with a goal on the power play from Cam Ward. And then soon after that, Sasha Christie also got onto the scoreboard. Owen Kempster Harper responded for the Hawks, but a quick response after that as well from Ben Murchison to make it 3-1 Dartmouth. 2 goals in the second from Halifax. Well, Ben Connick scored before the end of the first period. And then Vincent Brown and Blake Miller both scored in the second for the Hawks. And in the third, just about 5 minutes ago, Cam Ward scored his second of the game to move things to where they are now, tied at 4. The Whalers evening things up, and now a chance to take the lead here very late on the power play. Rimmer attempts to clear, held at the line by Dartmouth. Walking in, attempting to do it himself, was Isaiah Thompson walking in for the chance. Ward, Thompson, unable to hold the line, skips away. Vincent Brown on coverage, and the hook from the Whalers will bring an end to their power play as Vincent Brown turn on the Jets for the penalty-killing Hawks. And with a minute 12 left, it's going to be some 4-on-4 action. So that's going to be Isaiah Thompson going off the ice on a hooking minor. That'll take him right to the end of the hockey game. Hit up hard off the wall by the Whalers attempting to clear. Ward and Teddy Scott, the forwards out here for Dartmouth. It's Ward escaping pressure with it. And it's knocked away there on a dangerous attempt by Kempster Harper, who was right in on the pressure for the Hawks. Kempster Harper and Joseph Rimmer, the forwards out on the ice for Halifax. Both of these teams looking to utilize this extra space here in 4-on-4 action. And I believe we're getting another timeout called up here, this time to the Halifax Hawks. They're going to draw up something here on 4-on-4 action with only 58 and a half seconds on the clock here in the third frame in Dominion. A truly entertaining one. Of course, that rivalry, Halifax-Dartmouth, no matter how you frame it, If you're from Halifax, you always want to beat Dartmouth. And if you're from Dartmouth, you always want to beat Halifax. It's a tale as old as time here in Nova Scotia. But neither team is beating the other right now. Tied up at 4 here in the third. Maybe one more chance here in the final minute of the hockey game for one team to pull ahead of the other. 4-on-4 action. A little bit more room for both of the sides to generate a chance. Both teams look to be sending out their top forwards. Part of the Rimmer line for Halifax and part of the Cam Ward line for the Dartmouth Whalers here in the final minute of the third period. It's going to be a face-off in Dartmouth territory and a tie-up won by the Halifax Hawks. Irick Sullivan will cut in toward the middle of the ice. He's going to hang back, crosses wires there with his forwards, and now it's going to be a foot race in behind the net. Owen Kempster Harper in pursuit for the Hawks. Halifax able to hold it though. Oh, Bond cannot keep it in the zone, but keeps Cam Ward from escaping with it. Passed in front, a good stick by the Whalers. Up with it, Cam Ward. Scott the other way. Teddy Scott left back for Ward at the point. 25 seconds on the clock. Teddy Scott looking at his options to the point for Ward. The shot up high. It's going to elude the blocker from Grinnell Brown. And now the Hawks have some time and space. Take it the other way. Up through the middle. Chance for Rimmer. Skipped in front. Up and over the net. Rebound. Pad save by Horton. And the play is blown dead with 6.1 on the clock. A big save by Emmett Horton to keep the game tied up at the skin of the teeth of regulation time here with time winding down. One more chance here, likely for the Halifax Hawks. They have 6 seconds to generate something. Unless the Whalers are very quick to get out within, get a chance of their own. And it's won by the Hawks. They'll try to get the shot. Sullivan down low. Angled aside by Horton. And that will bring an end to a really tight one here in Dominion. 4-4 the final score, and a tie game between the Hawks and the Whalers here on day one of Friday action at the 2026 Under-15 AA Nova Scotia Provincial Championships. Both teams coming away with a point in the tie game. The Hawks with 2 ties in their first 2 games. The Whalers will pick up their first point of the tournament after losing on day 1 yesterday. A hard-fought one between these two teams from Halifax and Dartmouth here in Dominion. So with that, we'll wrap up game 1. Next up, the Bedford Blues and the Yarmouth Mariners will square off for the 10 a.m. puck drop here at the Dominion Arena. We'll have all that action and more throughout Championship Sunday here on High Button Sports. My name is Luke Diamond. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one here at the Dominion Arena. See ya next time.